You're listening to the Bust-Proof Business Podcast, taking your business to the next level by taking you out of it. With our experience and proven results, we'll help you find the success that many crave, but only we can help you achieve. It's time to get started with your host, Greg Murphy.
Hey guys, it's Greg Murphy again with the Bust-Proof Business Podcast, where we try to help you build a business that can run without you, so that if you get hit by a bus or some other form of mass transit, or you just decide to take up golf or watch daytime TV, your business can continue to grow even without your day-to-day involvement. Okay, so I'm back here again with Andy, and we're going to talk about selling on Amazon. Now, from what I remember from the conversations we've had before, you actually started the way I did, which is buying books one at a time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I started selling just the books I had around my house, right? Looked through all my old college textbooks and other various books we had picked up along the way. And yeah, that's where I started.
But you quickly were too good for that.
Yeah.
And so you moved past books and you did probably all the same things that everybody did, the retail arbitrage and all that. But quickly you decided to get into private label.
I did. So, so I did books, right? And this is the reason why I transitioned out of books. And God bless you that you're still in them. And I know they are extremely profitable. I will say that. And I made really good money on them. But I had 2 Gaylords of books delivered to my house. Had never done a Gaylord before, right?
I have never
had
heard
them
this
delivered
story.
to my house. And then I worked my way through those 2 Gaylords again by myself. It took me about a week, and I jacked my back up. It was like my back was messed up for like a year. I swore I would never sell books again after I got rid of those
That's
2 Gaylords.
That's
do
bad.
you remember that? Did you ever climb in a Gaylord looking through books?
Well, no, I've never climbed into a Gaylord. I'm a big boy. I'm not as tall as you, but I'm a little wider, and I'm not climbing into Gaylords. But I had at one point, the way our line worked was that we had guys that were digging into Gaylords and putting them in the mail bins to be scanned by other members of staff. And that lasted for a little while until we were able to buy the dumpers and the conveyor belts and all that stuff.
Oh man, I definitely needed a dumper because my low back, I still got issues, I think, from those 2 Gaylords.
Well, and it's not too late. I can hook you up. I have plenty of equipment around here. I can ship it out to Hershey for you if you want to come back to the light. But
funny. Yeah, so I went through those 2, vowed I was never going to do them again, then did a little bit of retail. And then about a year into my Amazon adventure, I stumbled upon private labeling through a friend who was selling on Amazon. And she basically taught me how to import from China and then, brand it with my own brand and sell it on Amazon. So I've never turned back after that.
Yeah. And you've had some pretty unique items that I'm shocked at how niche some of the stuff is, and how all the sort of nooks and crannies where there are still amazing opportunities to bring to market here in the U.S. Such a wide variety of products.
Yeah, and I still think it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. I don't think that we've even come close to touching the amount of products that can be sold online and specifically on Amazon. And you're right. The real success, I think, as a smaller seller, is finding those different niches, right, that a lot of people don't think about. So one of the things I often share, one of the products I first discovered and sold really well on were glass straws. And so,
I'm really glad you brought that up, Andy, because I didn't want to mention it without you mentioning it. But yep. I still think that they're crack pipes, no matter what you say. I still think they're crack pipes.
Who knows? I don't know what they're using for. All I know is they sell really well. The margins are awesome. And, everyone's like, well, man, how do you have glass shipped from China? And it doesn't break. And, it's amazing how well they know how to pack things. But yeah, so who would have thought, selling 4 glass straws, right, would add so much revenue to my Amazon physical product business, but it absolutely has. And again, it's just a niche. But I also realized a few things on those glass straws. One is they were made popular by Oprah Winfrey. And so on her show, apparently she used glass straws at some point, which happened to catch the trend of millennials who want to stay away from BPAs and plastics. And so, when I brought mine to Amazon catalog, there was probably like only 2 or 3 other sellers on the catalog, but I just caught that trend of folks wanting to stay away from plastics, and also liking the fact that they're renewable, that you can wash them so you don't throw them away. They're good for the environment. Yeah, man, they sell good. Amazon.
Do you guys use them? Do you guys use the glass straws in your house?
Because they hurt. Like if you hit your teeth with them, it hurts.
Yeah, but you don't put that in the product bullet point, right? I mean, that's not.
No, no, definitely don't put that. But I mean, they work,
Yeah. I don't get the whole thing. I mean, I understand some stuff. You want to avoid some things for your kids, but I mean,
well, I tell you, plastic. Like it's funny how things kind of happen. But on those glass straws, so there's a gentleman that lives in my area who's a paraplegic, doesn't have any use of his hands or legs, and his brother cares for him. And, I was talking to him. Their son plays on my son's football team, and he was asking me what I did, so I was telling him I import products. I have glass straws. And he's like, oh, man, those actually might really be helpful for my brother, because whenever he drinks, he has to drink out of a straw. So like, they put his cup on the tray and then he's got to use a straw. So I was able to actually give him like 200 glass straws, and they have a little bin in them. And they use them all the time and they love them.
Oh, wow.
So, again, like, I don't know how many paraplegics there are, in the country, but, if they discovered like a glass straw like that, it'd actually probably be pretty helpful for somebody like that. But that's like a niche,
Yeah, but why would you need 200 of them?
Well, so, I gave them 200 in case they didn't want to have to wash them every time, or if they're out somewhere. They don't have to like put it back in their purse or whatever. They can, get rid of it.
Got you.
But they're really cheap for me. So giving them 200 was like nothing.
Right. Yeah. You're balling with the glass straws, man. That's awesome. But okay. I really, how much I love talking about the glass straws. Every time we talk, I like to bring them up, but that's just one product that you have out of how, do you mind talking about how many products right now your mix of private label?
I have close to like 60 SKUs.
Oh, wow.
Some of them are related, so like total unique products, I probably have about 37 or 38 right now.
Okay, so related would be, just an example would be if you had a cook, like if you had something that, like I don't know, some type of plate or cover that held something that you cooked with, and then, something that decorated that same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like a pot holder and then a pot cover, whatever. Yep. I don't even know. Those might even be the same thing. You can tell how much time I spend in the kitchen. But the point is that like two things that might work with each other. Does that, if somebody buys one, is Amazon more likely to have them like recommend a product that's like that you carry?
Yeah, so I have one brand. It's in the baby category that I have trademarked the name. It's kind of my main seller, and yeah, definitely. I have probably like 17 or 18 SKUs that are underneath this brand, and that's what I want. I want to try to have repeat customers. I want to try to have customers who, if they buy, this branded product, they also see a related product that's underneath the same brand. So that way they're going to buy, 2 of my brand. Basically what I want to do with this brand is really build it, and eventually get it off Amazon as well.
Yeah, that's cool. And with the straws, just say, hey, just use these glass straws, throw them away, and then buy some more.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of replenishable, if you can get an item that's replenishable, that's golden, because people are going to keep coming back and buying more.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and that's interesting too, because it's difficult to acquire new customers. It's way easier to sell another product to the same customer than to go out and get a new one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm, I still just kind of have to step back and pinch myself. I'm enjoying it so much. I never realized how easy it is to import products from India or from China. I wasn't a business guy before I started selling on Amazon. I often tell people I was a social work major. I wanted to help people, and so business was like far from the furthest thing from my mind. But the processes, and again, like through the internet, things are actually pretty easy to be able to order things, on Alibaba or similar sites, and then, then sell them on Amazon.
So how much capital do you need to start out with a product, a private label product?
Yeah, so it differs. So I teach a course, and I've had members that have brought products to the marketplace for $500.
Okay.
So you can actually buy things like on AliExpress. If you want to buy, well, actually, I did. So I bought 50 units of a product. It was $600, and bought them. They were $11 a piece, and then sold them on Amazon for $49. So you can really get in the game for the least amount as possible. I generally tell people, you want to have 2,000 to 3,000, if possible, to really get things rolling. But you can do like, smaller test buys like I just shared for $500, $600.
And so in a typical SKU, in a typical product that you have, what type of coverage do you send into Amazon at once? Like how long of, I guess, how much stock do you want to send in at once in terms of coverage? Do you want to have 30 days of coverage, 60 days, or what?
Yeah. So when you're first bringing a product to market, and I guess when you're newer to private label, I'm to the point now where I pretty much know when I bring a product, how many it's going to sell, like say within the first 2 months. And so my general rule of thumb now is I'll bring 1,000. I don't have a warehouse or anything, so I send everything into Amazon. But with that 1,000, I know that I'm going to sell them within 4 to 5 months.
Okay.
That's the slowest that they'll sell. And so I always now at this point, when I identify a product, I go through the work of the research. I know for a fact I'm going to sell at least 1,000 within a 4 to 5 month range.
Yeah, that's a big bet though for someone just starting out. I mean, you don't recommend people go 1,000 units deep though?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, just starting out, one of the best ways is to, like I said, like I did with AliExpress, is like to do a test buy, and so maybe do 50 units, and put it up on Amazon, see how it does, see if it gets any organic sales, see if you turn on PPC, if you get any hits. That's probably a more, it's a less risky way, to do it if you're just starting out and you're new.
So one of the problems I've had, just in general, dealing with, I've tried to work with VAs overseas, and I've had a hard time with that. And so if you're dealing with suppliers overseas, are there difficulties that are associated with that in general?
Yeah, I mean, so there are a few challenges, but overall, most of the sales reps, and that's who you'd be talking to, like if you try to contact a manufacturer on Alibaba, most of the sales reps are younger. They understand written English fairly well. And so it's kind of like riding a bike. The first couple times it's going to be hard, but then you kind of get used to understanding to maybe only ask them 1 or 2 questions at a time. Because what I found is if you like ask them like 6 questions, they'll get confused and they really don't answer them all. So I'll usually ask them 2, 3, maybe tops. I'll number the questions, and then wait for their response. And so, yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but after doing it a few times, then it becomes easier.
And okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Amazing Freedom. So first off, what is Amazing Freedom, and how did you start it?
Sure. So I teach a course on importing, private labeling, selling on Amazon, and so I was trying to figure out what was the name of the website. for this course. And just trying to look back at my experience, how much I've enjoyed selling on Amazon. And one of the biggest things I've enjoyed about private labeling selling on Amazon is the freedom that's allowed me to have. And so for me, it's definitely a lifestyle business. I homeschool my 2 kids. And so, by private labeling, being able to send in 1,000 units, it allows me a lot more freedom to be able to spend time with my kids, which for me at this point in my life, that's what's most important to me. And so that's how we came up with the name Amazing Freedom. We just thought it fit, selling on Amazon. I'm able to do it from my house. I don't have to have a big warehouse. And so it kind of represents that for me. And so, under Amazing Freedom, we have a number of services for Amazon sellers. Like I said, we do the course. We actually just completed 2 high-level intensive private label retreats for a small number. I think it was 12 was the first one, then 18 was at the second one. We actually partnered with Eric and Dan from the Wholesale Formula. So that was really good. And then we have a few different paid groups that help people, like if they're doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. So that all kind of comes under the Amazing Freedom umbrella, which again for me represents, the freedom I get from selling on Amazon.
Yeah, and I'm checking out the site now, and is Nathan your cousin, right? Your cousin Nathan? He's your cousin?
That's my nephew.
Oh, nephew. Okay, right. And Nathan is he's the one that designs the site? Is that right?
Yep. So he works for me, does a great job, and he's an awesome kid. I call him a kid. He's only 23.
Yeah, I met him with you guys down in Nashville this past year. He's a really bright guy. He's a really bright guy, and the site looks amazing. So tell him it's really good stuff. Okay, so the wheels came off the wagon there a little bit, didn't they?
No, that's all right. Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little lost checking out the site a little bit. It's really cool. Yeah. It is really cool. Okay, so we'll get back to it. Sorry. My little notes here.
So I'm trying to think. Like, here might be a good question for you. Do you have like any funny stories, about importing? Because I have a few that are funny.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. See, yeah, I love it when you do my job for me, Andy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So Andy, tell us, do you have any kind of weird or funny stories about importing stuff? Because I'm assuming that, there has to be some type of language barrier or some kind of problems that have happened buying stuff from India and China.
Yeah. So, one of the things I often joke around with other sellers who import a lot from China is, when you're talking with your sales rep, they really speak in Chinglish, right? So that's Chinese and English. And, like I was saying earlier, it takes a little bit to get used to. They're all amazing customer service oriented sales reps. And I have some great relationships with them. But sometimes stuff gets, sometimes stuff gets lost in translation. And so I'll tell you one story. I often tell people when you order products, you always have to get the sample of the product. You can never place a large order until you have contacted that manufacturer, received a sample of the large order that you're going to place, and really fallen in love with that sample. So, this was early on. I was just kind of learning the process, was working with the manufacturer. They were making a great product for me. There was another product that I wanted them to design for me. They had never designed one before. I thought because the other product they had made for me was really good, they would have no problem designing this. So I gave them the specs for the design, told them what they had to do. And actually, I'll tell what it is. So it was a bamboo nursing pad for mothers, that were breastfeeding. And then if they weren't breastfeeding, most moms will put like, they used to always do disposable ones, right? To, maybe capture some of the milk that was leaking out of the breast. So I was selling bamboo nursing pads, and I asked the sales rep if she could make one with a cup design. So, if you think of a bra, right? All bras have cup designs.
Okay.
Well, on Amazon at the time, all the bamboo nursing pads were flat. None of them had a cup design and stuff.
Okay, time out. What are you talking about? What is a bamboo? You have to explain a little bit better because I'm drawing a blank as to what this product is.
Okay, sure. So a bamboo nursing pad. So a lactating mother, right? So you say she breastfeeds her baby, and then she's going to take a bamboo nursing pad, put it inside of her bra, so that if she has any milk that leaks out in between feedings, it's going to be absorbed by these bamboo nursing pads.
Now, bamboo, we're not talking about, that's a brand, or is that like the actual?
That's the material that it's made of. So bamboo is very soft. It's actually softer than cotton.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's very soft and it's very absorbent material. And so, at the time there was only flat ones, right? Made on Amazon. Well, those don't fit very well. There was one though that had a cup shaped design selling really well. So I contacted my manufacturer. I said, hey, look, are you able to make these for me? I gave her the specs, right? Gave her the measurement. She said, yeah, we can do that. No problem. Then she asked me the question. She said, do you want a sample? And I was like, nah, because I trusted them, right? Their other product they made for me was fantastic. I said, no, I don't need a sample. Go ahead. So I placed an order for 500 units. It's probably about $2,500 worth, right? They showed up in my doorstep. I was excited, unpacked them, and doggone it, Greg, these things were like the size of basketballs, right? They were just humongous. They were unbelievably large. Think of the biggest pancake you've ever eaten, and then like double it by 2 times, right? That's how large they were. And so I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this? It's a mess. And then I thought, you know what? This is a testament to the power of Amazon's sales channel. I said, I might as well send them in. And in the title, I put extra, 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 extra. I swear to the good Lord in heaven. All right. I put extra, 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 extra large bamboo nursing pads. Greg Murphy, I said every single one of those within 3 months.
Shut your mouth.
I swear to you.
Oh,
now I wasn't making a lot of money because, I lowered the price, but I was still making a little bit.
What about returns?
Every single one of them. Now, the reviews on them were funny because some people were, man, these things work good for drying my car. But yeah, I mean, the people were searching for them, and there must be a lot of big-breasted women out there in America. Is all I can think of, because I sold through every single one of them.
That's the title of the podcast now. Oh man,
but
yeah, that's a story.
You know what? It's funny, but it is true. Amazon sales channel is powerful and continues to be powerful.
I'm speechless. That doesn't normally happen. So did you decide though that you'd try it out at normal human sized ones?
Yeah. After that, then we got the measurements right and they got it corrected. And those actually the cup shaped ones became some of my best sellers.
So that's okay. I don't even feel comfortable commenting on the story. I think I'll get in trouble no matter what I say next. So this might be a good point to stop then, Mr. Slamans. I think we should leave on a high note. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. That was a heck of a story. And where can we find out more about you? Yeah, so my website's amazingfreedom.com. If you go there, you can see all the different services and groups that we offer there. So amazingfreedom.com. Awesome. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Greg.
That's all for this episode of the Bustproof Business Podcast. Be sure to point your browser to bustproofworkshop.com to sign up for our mailing list and to get your opportunity to enroll in one of our specialized seminars, guaranteeing you continued results in typical Bustproof fashion. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to taking your business to the next level right here on the Bustproof Business Podcast.